Good evening, everyone. Welcome in again to another season of University of Pikeville football. I'm Andrew Joyce, your host, and you're tuned to the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. Dudley Hilton, he was the all-time winningest coach in Kentucky high school football history when he arrived at the University of Pikeville, a three-time state champion. We call him our coach, and Coach Hilton, welcome back for a second season. It's been called the sophomore season for Dudley Hilton.
Well, you're right about that, Andrew. I learned a lot last year, that freshman year. It was really tough, and I can see where it's hard on freshman football players, but it's also hard on a freshman college coach too. But I'm looking forward to this new year and new beginning for our football team, and we got a lot of good things going on for us right now.
37 years in coaching, and you call yourself a freshman?
Yeah, I know it, but I'll tell you, doing this college business, everybody says football is football, but it's a lot different. And the game's so much faster in this college level than it was in high school. And I had to make a lot of adjustments on my own coaching philosophies and everything. But like I said, I've worked out a lot of wrinkles, and I feel like things are a little bit more smoother for me this year.
We're going to talk about that tonight, some of the adjustments you had to make as a coach. But after coming to the University of Pikeville, you reeled off 4 straight wins to get things started, landed in the top 25 in the country, and things were good. Then you ran into injuries, strength of schedule, playing some more experienced teams, bigger rosters, and then a tough finish for the Bears last year. How tough was that for the old coach?
Well, it was real tough because, I've always been the one that plays one game at a time, and I've done that all my life. And I don't know, we got caught up in things last year that just added pressure on myself and the football team, and I don't know, we just wasn't ready to handle it, I guess, because we had a good football team last year, and I still think we was a good football team. We just had some bad luck go wrong for us, and when it rains, it pours, and it sure came down on us. We didn't have no sign of a running back till we ended up getting Hunter Adams running the football, and he came along strong at the end. But we just just some things just didn't happen for us, and I just didn't do a very good job with my staff of trying to remotivate the kids and start all over again and regroup, and we just never could regroup. But I still think we had a very good football team last year.
Indeed, and huge recruiting class. You brought in a lot of new players. You brought in quality players. But as injuries happen, and they're going to happen in the college game, players get beat up, they get bangs, they're not at 100%. As you develop a program and you bring in recruiting class after recruiting class, that takes care of some of those issues, doesn't it?
Oh, yes, and and just the off-season weight program to run it like I want it to be ran, and I just feel like we're stronger and we're faster, and we're not depending on as many freshmen this year as we had that I did last year. So that's going to be a good plus for us. We still don't have many seniors. I think right now we got 5 seniors and about 8 or 9. Well, no, a few more juniors, and that's good because. Last year we sitting here with 5 or 6 seniors and about 4 or 5 juniors. So now we're sitting here with 5 seniors and about 20 juniors and about 30 sophomores. So I just think the strength of those kids is going to really make a difference in our football team because we've been there and done that, and we know how to handle a little bit better now.
Something we talked about late last year or midway through the season on, your team with a young team, freshmen, sophomores. Yeah, you had some juniors and seniors, but you've got 18 or 19-year-old kids playing against Georgetown's, Campbellsville's, the University of Cumberland's, teams with fifth-year seniors and fourth-year juniors. You're playing against 22, 23, even 24-year-old players. There's a huge difference between that freshman class and those 50-year seniors. It takes time to develop a football program on the college level, I guess is my point.
Yeah, again, managing your time in this college level, a lot of our kids, you got to learn how to manage your time. And the freshmen don't know that right now. They think they can sit up to 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and then come to early practice, and they just get wore down, and that's kind of what happened to us last year. But, just the older kids, you get a 4th, 5th year in college, you're close to graduating, getting your degree, and you're going out in the work world, So they got their heads screwed on a little bit better, and you know, and again, when you play people like Georgetown, who's got all these seniors on the front line, and you're playing freshmen on the front line, it just makes a difference. And but again, I thought we held up to things well, but we just, you know, our youth really caught up with us.
You're tuned to the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. We'll be here every Tuesday evening, and of course you can tune in live on Pike TV at piketv.com, Z-Rock 107.5 and ESPN Radio. Of course, the home of the Bears all season long is Z-Rock 107.5, and we'll talk about the upcoming opponent, the season opener this Saturday as the Bears take on Bluefield College, a team that hasn't played a regular season game since 1941. Coach, before we talk about Bluefield, we'll have a couple of special guests as well as we step into the Bears den and talk with a couple of Bears players. Those players got here by recruiting. Last year, a record-setting number of recruits landing on campus. Let's talk about recruiting this year. How was it different for you?
Well, you know, again, we had a little bit more to offer our students. I felt like when I came here, there's a couple sore thumbs when we took our kids around campus to persuade them to come here. One was the lunchroom facilities, and between Governor Patton and James Hurley and the board, they put one of the prettiest lunchroom medical buildings, second to nobody. I'm telling you, had Nate up there, it's something else. So it's going to be a very good recruiting point for us. And then their athletic facilities that we're able now to take kids through our dressing room and show them the locker room, their weight room, and the coach's office, and the turf field that we can do drills on and things like that. And again, that's going to be a big plus for us. So these kids that are trying to waive, do they come to University of Pike or do they go to another school? I think now we got some things that we can get over the hump on, and not that we're not getting the good athletes. We're losing a few that we'd like to have because of our facilities. Now we don't have no complaints at all, because to me that was two of the biggest bright spots that that could have happened to the University of Pike. Our kids came in this fall, come in for summer camp. They thought they'd transferred and went to another school, Andrew, but they love it. And the kids, it's all going to be a big plus for our university, and just the growth of it. And I'm excited for what we can do for football for it.
Of course, record-setting growth on the University of Pikeville campus. The University of Pikeville Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine, the medical building as we speak, the Cole building, now with the new cafeteria facilities for campus, beautiful facility. Not just recruiting, but now let's move down to the lower campus and talk about the Hoops athletic facility. A turf field, your weight room facilities, your locker room facilities, outside of recruiting. What does that do to help the U-Pike program progress?
Well, again, just having a place to work our football players in off season, and sometimes when it rains and sometimes you don't have no place to go, you got 100 and some kids. It's you just have to text them and say, let's take off today. And now there's no more taking off. We got a place that we can go and gather our kids and meet with them, and the off season program is very important. It was for me in high school. That's why. I feel like I had a lot of success in high school, because during the winter months, that's when I worked the hardest. And here we just really didn't have a place to take our kids, because you couldn't get to the gym, because, we got so many sports here, and just having a place to take them, it was just hard to do that in the off season. So now we've got a good place that we can work out with the other sports, and have a real place to bring our football players in to work in the off season. And that's going to mean the most to us, is having a place to work these young men.
You're tuned to the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. We talk University of Pikeville football. Dudley Hilton now in his second year at the helm of the University of Pikeville program. Coach, 37 years in coaching. Last year, your first as a college coach. You've said that was your freshman season. You made some mistakes. It was different than the high school game and coaching high school players. How have you approached this season differently?
Well, just knowing the kids a lot more, I had a hard time remembering names last year, because just so many kids.
You had 130 plus.
But now I can relate with them. I've seen them a little bit more of of what they did last year, and I feel comfortable out on the football field now with what Al's running, that I can help him a little bit, and then turn over to Dane on the defensive side and have a little input on that. And last year I was so busy just trying to get organized. I didn't know Al's system, and I didn't know Dane's system very well, but I've learned them a lot better right now, and taking a bigger part in the special teams and just the personality of our kids, our attitude of our kids, and now I feel like I can handle problems a lot better. And it was hard to handle problems when you really didn't know the young man on your football team. So there's where I feel like I've really grown, and I know the school system a lot better now too. And after being here for about a year and a half now, and just everything's working better out for me. I'm so much more comfortable sitting here, even here tonight, and even coming to work every day, because it was a big change for me. A lot of people don't realize what kind of change this old man went through last year, but I've handled it well, and I second guessed myself a little bit, but now everything's coming. The cream always comes to the top, and I think our football team their attitude's a lot better. I think we're more of a team this year, and I just can't wait till we get this thing started.
Looking forward to year 2 of the Dudley Hilton era and the University of Pikeville season opener is coming up Saturday at Bluefield College, Bluefield, Virginia, historic Mitchell Stadium, a beautiful place and just a short drive for UPike football fans to show up. We want to see a lot of black and orange there. Coach, coming up, we're going to talk with a couple of players with this year's team. One, a returning player. He's been around. He's in the University of Pikeville football record books. Let's hear your thoughts on what Trevor Hoskins means to this program.
Well, he brings that leadership, and it all starts at a quarterback. You got to have somebody that knows the system, and I think he knows Al's place for Al calls them out there. So you got to have that combination there, and they've got that. They work so good together, and he just he had a great start at the beginning of the year, and just we went through a little hard time at the end, but still he showed good leadership on the field. He didn't let it get him down, and he kept bouncing back. And I've known Trevor since he's in grade school at Middlesboro, and he's what we need, and we're going to get this program the wins a lot more than losses. It's going to be a lot on his shoulder, but he's been in the FAR before, and he knows how to handle the pressure, and that's he don't have a lot more he can prove here as far as all these records, but biggest thing he can improve to help this University of Pikeville football team have a lot more wins than we got losses. And again, if he shows the leadership that I know he can do, he'll definitely drive us in the right direction. And he's got a very strong arm. He's very smart, and he's got to be the leader out there on the football field.
He didn't play, of course, at Bell County High.
Not because we didn't try.
And you try to get him to climb Log Mountain, but they grow them pretty tough. And last I recall, Middlesboro is in Bell County. They grow them tough there.
Oh yeah, well we're proud of the whole county, and Trevor, we did try to get him come to Bell County, but and he was brought up in Middlesboro. I think his daddy played at Bell County. His mother went to Middlesboro, so he got kind of caught in between that. You can ask him in a few minutes when
we'll
you
talk about that. A newcomer to the University of Pikeville football program, a guest on the show this evening. He's not a newcomer to campus. He's been a member of the basketball program. Chris Watson, probably the largest bear, maybe not weight-wise, but he's a specimen on the field. Pretty impressive looking in a football uniform. How's the transition been for him?
Well, it's been super. He's act like he's been out there all of his life, but I've just, he's got a motor. And, sometimes when you got a motor, anybody can almost coach him, and you just got to slow that motor down a little bit. He breaks the speed limit every once in a while, but the bottom line, he just brings some energy to our football program, and it's just like he's getting a new toy for Christmas, and he plays with that excitement, and he's a Joey. He wants to get better every day of practice, and he's laying out there. He knows he's got to do a little extra work, and he's done that, and I'm anxious to turn him loose on Saturday afternoon, but. He's still going to learn every day. But one thing he's got, Andrew, and that's that motor. And sometimes you have to take that old lawnmower and crank it about 4 or 5 times, and he's a push button. All you got to do is put him out there on the field. His motor's running when he get out there on the field, and that's a gift. That's everybody's not given that motor, and somewhere or another he's got one, and I'm sure Kelly really enjoys him on the basketball court because. What I watched him last year, he did play hard out there, and he does give us the same effort on the football field. He's a team man, and that's what I like about him. He's willing to do what it takes to make the team successful, and it's not all about him. It's about our football team, and again, that's from being under Coach Wells, and hopefully our football program is a fine young man.
How contagious is that motor to players around him?
Well, I think it's definitely. I think it can, can rub off. I mean, it's just something that he brings that excitement, and again, I'm excited about our defense for that. And when he needs experience, and hopefully, he can keep watching film and how he can improve every week to make himself a better football program. But he brings a lot, and again, I keep that emphasis on that motor. It's something else, and people are going to be excited to watch this young man play this year.
You're tuned to the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. The old coach, he's been said to have a little bit of a motor himself, and it is contagious on those around him. We'll step out, take a break. When we come back, we'll talk with the coach a little later of scouting Bluefield. When we return, we'll talk with newcomer Chris Watson. But first, the returning starting quarterback, senior Trevor Hoskins, on the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. And welcome back in to another edition of the Dudley Hilton Show. We kick off the 2012 season as the Bears are set to take on Bluefield College Saturday, a 1 p.m. kickoff at Mitchell Stadium in Bluefield, Virginia, just a short drive from Pikeville. And we encourage a lot of you Pike fans to be there and join us to see this 2012 edition of the Bears. They'll be led, offensively at least, by 6'3", 205-pound senior quarterback Trevor Hoskins. He's out of Middlesboro High School and Eastern Kentucky University. Last season, 197 completions, 54% completions, over 2,600 yards, 27 touchdowns. What's your encore performance?
Like Coach Hilton mentioned earlier, I think this year is all about wins and losses. I mean, that's what it's been about. But especially after the great start that we had last year and finishing the way we did, I feel like not that this team has something to prove, but we want to come out and finish the way we started last year. We want to come out strong, and numbers and all that aside, we want to finish the season with a whole lot more wins than we do losses.
Trevor, I've had a chance to be around you from time to time on the field and off the field. Quality young man. You come out of Middlesboro High School. It's a tradition-rich football program on the high school level, along with Coach Hilton's Bell County squad. But Middlesboro is a high school program that draws a lot of respect when you mention Middlesboro Yellow Jackets. You've gained a lot of individual honors since arriving at the University of Pikeville. You've been a National Offensive Player of the Week. You've been a Mid-South Conference Player of the Week multiple occasions. You hold single-season records at the university, the top two in yardage, completions, and touchdowns in the U-Pike record book. You set game records, over 600 yards versus Georgetown, 36 completions in a game, career records at the University of Pikeville, 52 touchdown passes. We'll look to add to that this year. Those are all individual honors. As Trevor Hoskins moves into his senior season, what are your thoughts for this program, for this team, as you will be looked at as the leader?
Well, I think this team as a whole, not just individually, but as a whole, has came a long way. And I think it goes back to last year when Coach Hilton came in. What he and his coaching staff's been able to do as far as, getting the new facility and, just bringing in quality guys. Not that we didn't have them before, but I think just the team's character as a whole, you'll be able to see that it's 10 times better this year than what it was last year, just this far in camp. You know, adding guys like Chris Watson, who only make our team better, and just the experience that we've had. You know, we were young last year. Not to make excuses, but we were young. We had some success early, and I think, you know, just to be blunt, you know, we got hit in the mouth a few times, and we didn't really know how to respond as a team. But I feel like we're more experienced and brought in quality guys, and I think the character of this team will be able to withstand, you know, some adversity.
We're looking for big things out of the Bears this season, and of course always look for big things out of Trevor Hoskins. He's become one of our favorite players at the university in the short history of this program. You've seen the team make strides. You say that night and day difference between this year and last year. That's what a good program does. They continue to build. What are some goals this year for you, Trevor Hoskins, individually? What are some team goals?
I think my goal individually this year is to do everything in my power to make this team better. You know, whether that's, you know, going out and throwing touchdowns, or maybe, you know, patting a guy on the butt saying, hey, you know, you can do better that, or, you know, good job. I think just whatever I need to do as a leader to bring this team on and get over that hump is, you know, that's my personal goal. And of course, as a team goal, we want to win as many games as possible and, you know, take it game by game. Don't want to look too far ahead. Don't want to say undefeated. Don't want to say, you know, conference champs, anything like that. Our team focus right now should be on Bluefield, and, you know, last year proved you can't look too far ahead. It's got to be game to game.
Coach Hilton talks about this being his sophomore season. Hugely successful on the high school level, three-time state champion, winningest high school coach in Kentucky when he retired at Bell County, highly respected. He comes to the college game and finds out it is a little different, much faster, and he's dealing with a 130-plus player roster as opposed to a high school roster that may touch 50. He says that he's approached the game, practice, recruiting, everything differently this year. How has Coach Hilton and the staff been different in practice so far?
Well, like you said, not just in practice, but you can see it in the kids that they brought in. You know, he's really understood, like, bringing in good character means a lot. And also in practice, everything's up tempo. You know, we're really focusing in this year. It seems like, you know, last year we were looking too far ahead to this or that. And like he said, he had a lot going on, and, you know, there was a lot that, you know, he just wasn't. Not that he wasn't ready for it, but just, you know, he didn't know. And the same way as a football player coming in, you know, there's things you got to get used to. And I believe with not only him but the players as well, a better understanding of how things work at this level has only made our team better, and it's improved everything from practices to the players that we brought in. You're
tuned to the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. We talk University of Pikeville football, joined by 6'3" senior quarterback Trevor Hoskins. He'll be the leader of this team offensively on the field. And, of course, the season kickoff, 1 p.m. Saturday at Bluefield. Not a lot known about the Rams. They haven't played a regular season game since 1941. Tough to get a scouting report. But, Trevor, let's talk about the Bears and the offensive side of the ball. As a quarterback, you get a lot of press. You get National Player of the Week honors, Mid-South Conference Player of the Week honors, a lot of those nominations. That's what a quarterback does. He's the guy on the field. We all know it takes protection from your offensive line. It takes a solid running game. It takes receivers that can catch the football and pick up yardage after that catch. Let's talk about the offense. Give us an insider's report on the offensive unit this year. Receivers, are they catching it? Some newcomers, some old guys that are around that have got great hands. How's the offensive line look?
Well, we got a couple of transfers in, of course. You know, at receiver, we got, you know, Jeremy Hill from Ball State, who's looked really good out there during camp. Of course, he's still coming along, learning the offense, but as far as, you know, raw talent, you know, really good. Our offensive line, I think, is 10-1 better than where it was last year. And one thing that I think everybody will be impressed with that you really didn't see last year until the last two games is a running game. You know, we have Hunter Adams back there now full-time who, you know, led our team in rushing, and he started running back for 2 games. You have Chris Perry that's back. You know, he's probably the fastest guy on the team. And just some other guys, Seth Miller, you know, just the running backs. We have a stable of guys back there who I think you'll be able to see that's really, I mean, it's 10 times better than it was last year, and that's really going to help us.
We're looking for great things out of the offense at the university this season. Got to talk about a couple of things that are off the field. Number one, new unis. How do the players like them? Because they look great.
Oh, we love them. I think that's what everybody was pushing for last year. You know, you see some of the bigger schools got the, the tight uniforms, which we had nice uniforms. They were nice, but I think it was coaches did an awesome job. And, Coach Hilton always says he'll take care of us as long as we work hard and do the right things. And, he's a man of his word when it comes to that. As long as we work hard. I mean, there we are with the new facility, new uniforms, the flat orange helmets, who I think only one other team in the country have. So we're really excited about it.
Great look, and I guess many different combinations with the new uniform look as well. We'll see those throughout the season. And I have to talk about the new digs, the new home training facility for the football program, and that's the Hoops Athletic Facility. The turf has gone down now. The locker room facility's there, the weight room facility there. How much does that mean to a player?
Oh, it means a lot. I mean, it makes you want to go out and work. It makes you want to do the little things and it makes you feel like, important. Like, you want to go out and do the right things, win some ball games. It just gives that extra incentive. When you got a place to come back to practice, like when it's not the best conditions outside, somewhere to pick your laundry up and, the cubby holes that we have. And there's no excuse not to, go out and do what you're supposed to do. And this year with all the stuff that we have, there's no excuses not to succeed.
First-class program, first-class coach, first-class leader on the field. Trevor Hoskins, senior quarterback for the University of Pikeville Bears. Best of luck to you and the Bears this Saturday. We'll be there in Bluefield, and we'll look for that 53rd career touchdown this Saturday and many more throughout the season.
I hope so.
Have a great year, Trevor.
Thank you.
Trevor Hoskins, 6'3", senior quarterback for the University of Pikeville Bears. You're tuned to the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless, where we talk all things U Pike football. When we return, we'll talk about a newcomer to the program, Chris Watson. Welcome back into the Dudley Hilton Show, talking University of Pikeville football, getting set to kick off the 2012 season. I'm Andrew Joyce, your host, and we step now back into the Bears den, talking with another Bear player as we get ready for the season opener. Coming up Saturday at Bluefield College, Mitchell Stadium, and of course that kickoff set for 1 o'clock. We know that we've heard many different times throughout the course of the summer what time this game would kick off, but it's locked in stone now. 1 p.m. kickoff in Bluefield. Saturday morning you could get up, make the short drive, and we expect to see a lot of black and orange there as the U-Pike fans travel with the Bears to Bluefield for the season opener. Joined now by another player with the University of Pikeville Bears. Talked with Trevor Hoskins, of course, the senior quarterback. He's a record setter. He's been with the program, possibly one of the newest members of the U-Pike program, but not a new face on campus. Chris Watson, a member of the University of Pikeville basketball program, a 6'7", 225-pound defensive end out of Daytona, Florida. Chris, welcome to the Dudley Hilton Show.
Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Great to have you here, and I'm pretty sure Dudley Hilton's pretty happy to have you on the field. He talked about a motor that Chris Watson has. Before we go there, as a member of the University of Pikeville basketball team, we learned a little about your background as a basketball player. Didn't talk much about football, didn't know we needed to, but you played some high school football. Let's hear about your background, and let's hear where Chris Watson heads this year.
I played 3 years of high school football, and I really enjoyed it, but it just so happened that it wasn't my route for college. And like I was kind of upset at first, but like I made the best of it, and eventually I made my way back to the sport that I kind of love the most. So
sometimes you play basketball because you're 6'7". You're going to get some recruiting notice that way. On the football field, who made the decision? How did you arrive on the U-Pike program? Was that Chris Watson approaching a coach, or was that someone coming after you?
It was a little bit of both. Like I still had the love for the game, and I missed it, and I kind of wanted to open up some more doors for my future, as well as help this program in any way that I could. So I just kind of reached out to the coaches as well as they reached back out to me, and here we stand.
Chris Watson, on the basketball court, we saw a lot of highlights. We already have had the talk. Watson's highlights, is that something we're going to see each and every week? Of course, you're going to be playing on the defensive side, imposing presence, 6'7" at a defensive end, and from what I hear from preseason reports, you're flying around aggressive defensively.
Yeah, I'm trying to do everything I can to like get better. I'm still not where I need to be in regards to knowing everything and being in the right places at all times. But I will give my effort at all times, as Coach said. So I will get there eventually. But right now, there's still a ways to go.
Let's talk about the transition. Kelly Wells, he's known to have some pretty tough basketball practices. National championship coach, national coach of the year. He drives his players. He expects a lot out of his players, and you've experienced that. You stepped into two-a-days with Coach Hilton, Coach Brown, Coach Holland, and two-a-days started back in August. A little different. It's not a climate-controlled gymnasium. Hot days, two-a-days. It's been a while since you'd seen those. What was the transition like?
It was definitely tough at first. Those first couple of days were really tough. The sun is the biggest difference. The climate control and the AC with the basketball made things way easier, but the sun, I want to say, it brings the man out you, because the sun is definitely the main difference.
It's been a while since you've been away from football. What was it like when you first put the pads back on?
It felt good. All my teammates was around me, encouraging me, telling me everything's going to be all right, especially the first day after I didn't do as well as I hoped to do. But my teammates picked me up and, I don't know, just like kind of got me through those first couple of days. Like the coaches told me that it was going to be hard, but I didn't think it was going to be that hard. But eventually, like the coaches and the players and like some of the fans just got me through it. And I think we're going to do big things this year as long as everybody keep working as hard as we've been working.
Chris Watson, of course, there are a lot of demands on a student athlete playing one sport. Basketball, the mix of basketball, and then getting it done in the classroom. How tough do you anticipate that will be with the two-sport and the time demands of playing both football and basketball?
I think it's probably just as tough as I make it. It's really about, like how Coach said, it's time management. And like I'm taking a good bit of credit hours in two sports, but as long as I manage my time and just keep focused on the goals that I have in mind, then I think everything will work itself out.
What do the coaches do to help a student, a football player, in the classroom? For those of us that are uneducated, are there study halls? Are there tutors available for you guys to help in the classroom to make sure that you stay on track?
I don't want to overstate it, but it's basically everything you need. If you need a study hall, if you need a tutor, if you need an extra workout, if you need film work, if you need a meal plan, if you're trying to gain weight or lose weight, anything that you could possibly think of, the coaches or some form of authority will help you get to where you need to go.
Chris Watson, on the basketball court, I know Kelly Wells, there are a lot of goals in that locker room. And Coach Hilton's locker room, I know there are goals for the team this year as well. What are Chris Watson's goals heading into this football season?
Really kind of just to do the best as I can and help the team in any way possible, both basketball and football. I really want to win. Like, as part of my whole career, like I really haven't won anything. And both these teams, the basketball and the football team, I feel like we have a great chance because the guys work hard, have a great attitude. Like the new stuff is definitely motivating people. It's just like a good vibe and a good feel once you walk in the locker room, once you walk in each facility. It's just everyone seems to put their best foot forward and trying to do everything they can to bring you Pike some championships this year.
You're tuned to the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. We're talking University of Pikeville football, the season opener this Saturday at Bluefield College in Bluefield, Virginia. It's a short drive, less than 2.5 hours from Pikeville as you travel 460. It's an easy drive. And, of course, kickoff set for 1 o'clock. Coverage on Z-Rock 107.5 beginning at 12:45 Saturday. We'll be there to bring you all the coverage. And, of course, we'll be talking about Chris Watson at a defensive end spot. He's one of our guests in the Bears Den today, along with Trevor Hoskins, senior quarterback, a guest earlier. We'll talk with Dudley Hilton more in just a little bit about the scouting report on Bluefield, some returning players, and some key newcomers to the Bears program this year. But want to finish up with Chris Watson, and again, we'll step off the field. And a lot of folks say, well, You guys have talked a lot about new uniforms. We saw a press release. We saw pictures of the new uniforms. We've heard a lot about the athletic facility, the Hoops athletic facility on the lower campus. And they say they're just uniforms. To those maybe that haven't played the game, maybe they've got a little more age on them. How important is something as simple as a uniform change to a college student, to a college athlete?
Really, I think it's really important. It's a better feel and overall just appearance. Like some guys like to look good, but most of it's just representing our school. This is really all it's about right there, the U Pike, and the fact that the coaches went out of their way to get us new uniforms, new facilities, just to make us the best possible athletes that they could. It's just, we're so appreciated. Like it really wouldn't matter if it was just all orange and just U Pike. It's just the fact that they went out their way to do something to let them know, or let us know that they appreciate us. So we have to do everything we can to let them know that we appreciate them.
It's part of a first-class program. It's part of pride. And I can sense it from both you and Trevor Hoskins that you do appreciate it, and the look is there. Plus, man, those look good.
Yeah, they do. I can't.
They look good. 6'7", 225. You feel it well.
Thank you.
And I've seen you in pads in some preseason work, and impressive out there. We look for impressive things out of both Chris Watson on the field. We've seen the basketball highlights. We're looking for some on the gridiron, and we're looking for a lot of wins for the U Pike program. Best of luck to you this season, Chris.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Chris Watson, he's one of the newcomers. You'll see him on the defensive side for the U Pike Bears Saturday at Bluefield, 1 o'clock kickoff. And when we return, we'll be rejoined by the coach. Dudley Hilton talks about Bluefield, returning players to the U Pike program, and some key newcomers. You're tuned to the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless.
So you're finishing your studies at a community college in southeastern Kentucky. Most people believe they have to pack up and leave home to get an affordable bachelor's degree. Good thing you're not most people. Stay home and finish your education at the University of Pikeville. You can even complete your degree at the community college campus you've already been attending. It's your time, your university. You're already so close. UPike. Visit k4cs.upike.edu for more information and eligibility requirements.
Welcome back in. The Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. We're talking about University of Pikeville football, and if you're just tuned in, well, you've missed the fact that we're pretty excited about this 2012 season. It begins Saturday at Bluefield's Mitchell Stadium in Bluefield, Virginia, as the Bears take on the Bluefield Rams. Their first regular season game since 1941. There will be a lot of excitement in Bluefield, and we're looking for a lot of folks to make the trip in black and orange and represent the University of Pikeville against the Rams. Some folks that are also pretty excited about the upcoming season. How about Billy Hilton and the gang in Springfield, Kentucky? I guarantee that U-Pike van it's out, it's been polished up, it's ready for the season opener. I got a feeling those guys are having a good time tonight because they look forward to the season kickoff.
Well, they sure do, Andrew. They can't wait till football starts, and they've had a little hard time adjusting to the college level too. They love the Friday night game, but they know that I'm here on Saturday afternoon now, so they're going to adjust that. But I'm sure they're having a big time down there tonight.
Billy Hilton, of course, the brother of Coach Dudley Hilton in Springfield, and quite possibly U-Pike's #1 fan right now. The U-Pike van is out there. I got to say, I've still not had a ride in that van. I've seen it up close. I've gotten a little tour of it, and it is all things U-Pike. But I'm expecting a ride in that thing this season.
They took it to the Lexington Catholic field last week, and everybody came in the stadium and said they knew I was there because they could see the van out there. So it's good advertising for a university because they've got it fixed up awful nice.
Yeah, it is. It is a sweet vehicle. So we just wanted to say hey to the gang in Springfield. Of course, we've got folks listening across the country. You can tune in each week to the Dudley Hilton Show live at piketv.com. You can see the live stream. It's where you'll also see Bears football. You'll be able to see the live video stream live. You can hear it on Z-Rock 107.5. The video stream, of course, at piketv.com. You'll be able to find it there as you'll find a link to those games. Coach Hilton, back to the field. Great guest tonight. Chris Watson, great addition to the program. Quality young man. We already knew about Trevor Hoskins. Of course, he's your offensive leader on the field, and those young men just, I think they exemplify the class of the UPike program.
Well, again, Trevor said it in talking about some of the kids we're bringing in here. We're bringing in quality people, and I like to think we still got a few that's, cause us a little trouble, a little, but we're weeding them out pretty quickly. And other night we had a young man that did the open prayer and the hoops dedication of the place down there, and it's just. He stole the show, and I think tonight Trevor and Chris stole our show a little bit because they handled themselves very well, and it's all about their team. And you got your job and I got my job. This is these guys' football team, and
right.
and they're proud of it, and it makes me feel proud to hear people to brag on their team because that's what it's all about. It's all about them and. Rest of them, they cause us to have jobs, and a lot of times people don't realize that. But these young men like this, gives us some good jobs.
Makes jobs more pleasurable when you surround yourself with quality people.
Right, and we can't let the one or two that goes out here and stump their toes and do things they shouldn't do to bring down the people that, like the Chris Watson and the Trevor Hoskins that we've had on this show tonight.
We've got one of each, a key returner in Trevor Hoskins and a newcomer to the program, Chris Watson. Let's talk about some other key returning players for the UPike program this year. Some names that people will be familiar with from last year that will be back in key spots this year.
I'll have both my coordinators on the show here, probably one next week and one after, but they can go in detail. But offensively, we got Shantez Johnson and Tanner Napier back at wide out with Amos Jordan, and those three main ones, and I'll let Coach Holland add a few more names to that. Sure. But those are the ones that come to my mind real quick. And then and then you got Hunter Adams back there at tailback that got some experience, and Coach got 2 or 3 backups this year. Seth Millar and CP. Purry and also Zeke White. So, I feel comfortable that offensively, we're as strong as been here. This is going on Coach Holland's, I guess, his third season here. So, he's got things in place that he wants. And, of course, he's got a big tight end now in Brent Slusher and the Wells kid. So, I feel, he's got some things going for him offensively. Over on the defense side, Coach Brown starting his second year. He went through some growing pains last year, and I think he's fixed a lot of things. But he's defensive line there, Corey Martin, who we feel like a strong defensive lineman returning with Taylor Woods at the other DN, and there's a couple on there that's played there last year. And linebacker, John Dudley had a good year. I thought he got wore down a little bit during the season, but again, he tried to hold us together over offensively. Defensively. He went through so many different linebackers last year. We had to run off 2 or 3, and I think we're right now pretty solid at linebacker. Don't have a lot of depth in them, but I feel comfortable that we're better at linebacker as far as the overall 3 or 4 of them. We just need a couple more kids there. But secondary, we got Jay Haddix back that left at Christmas and went to UK for a semester, and,
sure.
and he missed it so bad. He came back, and Dimitri, other corner that had a great year also. So those 2 guys are their main secondary boys that are back, and we got a couple others that was redshirt last year. Again, I'll let Coach Brown go in detail, but these kids I'm talking about were ones that was there last year, and I think we're sitting here this time last year. We couldn't name about 1 or 2 returners we had on defense. So again, that's the same way on offense. We're talking about some receivers that are sophomores and juniors now. Last year they were freshmen and sophomores, and you're talking about a quarterback's a senior also. So the experience there, that we're going to have a lot more experience this year on both sides of the ball. Then you go to the kicking game. We got the all-conference kicker back and the quick kid, and he just does a great job of kicking off and punting, and that's a good phase of our game that we got going too. So, knock on wood, if everything goes well for us, just the experience of some of these guys. But they got to be leaders, Andrew. The guys that's got the experience on defense got to lead lead the Chris Watson and the other newcomers, and the guys on offense got to lead we got several new offensive linemen that's we got to lead them. We got to help them to grow, and hopefully if we got good leadership on both sides of the ball, we got the experience now anyway.
Talking about building depth, and of course that takes place as a program grows and builds upon itself. Newcomers, always important to the program. As you have an established program, newcomers maybe not so important, but with a young team, newcomers can come in and they can play right away. What are some key newcomers?
Well, you got some transfer kids in that, especially on the offensive line, that some was redshirt players last year. That's again, going to really help our football team. They got the size and everything, and that's kind of what Coach Holland, he recruits hard, and he's responsible for a lot of these kids come in here, and I think that's what he wanted to do, a little extra work on, and again, we'll give him 1 year, one game before we really center them all out, because right now we've had several of them injuries and back, and I really don't know who always going to start up there, but he has got a few choices, and I think those newcomers on the offensive line, when we get them all healthy, it's going to be a very good offensive line. And I'd like to think, it'd be one of the best offensive lines Trevor's been behind since he's been here. But again, we're still going through some growing pains there on that, and again, he's got a few new receivers come in, like Trevor said, that's transferred in here. So I think you're going to see some newcomers going to play a big part. But it's really hard to talk about the newcomers till you see them out on the field. And right now, we still got a lot of older kids that's going to try to keep these newcomers from taking their places.
I guarantee it. It's the Coach Dudley Hilton Show, where we talk U-Pike football. The season opener against Bluefield College Saturday at Mitchell Stadium in Bluefield, Virginia. 1 o'clock kickoff, coverage at 12:40 on Z-Rock 107.5. Of course, you'll hear the audio stream online and also video streaming live at piketv.com. Coach Hilton, as we wind down the opening show of the 2012 season, quite possibly the toughest scouting report you'll have all season, because Bluefield hasn't played a regular season game since 1941. It's a new program reestablishing itself. What do you know about the Rams, if anything, heading into Saturday?
Well, one thing I've learned, my sophomore year is that other team over there recruits just like you do. And, last year we recruited a lot of freshmen, had to play a lot of freshmen. I'm sure they went out there and recruited a lot of freshmen that in a boat kind of like we were last year. And I'm sure they got some, we really don't know a whole lot about them, Andrew. We're really at a disadvantage because they know our offense, because we got the same offensive coordinator we had last year. They know our defense because we got the same defense coordinator we had last year.
Sure.
So we really don't know that much about them. But I know in this college business that other team can play, and because they recruit. And in high school, I could tell you if Macquarie Central started football, they're going to be terrible, because in high school it takes time to get a football team put together. In this college business, it can take you 1 year. We've already witnessed that with Lindsey Wilson, who's in their third year and was ranked last year on a good season. And it don't take you long in this college business. So we know that we're going into a hornet's nest Saturday over to Bluefield. It's our first game. I'm sure they're going to come out of the woodwork to come and watch this game. So, we better be ready to play. And I don't think our kids looking at them as a new team or anything like that, because they do have scholarship players and recruited players just like we do.
Just like we sit in a tradition-rich area for mountain football, that area of Southwest Virginia, Southern West Virginia, it's tradition-rich as well. Richlands, Bluefield, Graham, Tazewell, you travel up the Roanoke area, Blacksburg, Christiansburg, there's good football there for their local players. And then I see that they've also been recruiting Florida and California as well. So they've got some kids that have come in that certainly have the roster-type numbers that look like they'll be quality college athletes. We'll look for a U-Pike win on Saturday. Coach, we need a lot of orange and black there. We need the U-Pike fans to travel with us to Bluefield. It's a short drive. It's not a bad road trip. maybe an invitation from the coach. How bad do we need them?
Well, you always want the support, and on this TV show here tonight, gets us kicked off for another season, and now you got people talking about it, and hopefully when we build up to Saturday that we have a lot of fans up the Bluefield supporting us, and we always need our fans, and just again they can tune in on this thing right here and watch our game too. So, but we'd rather for you to be there live, because it's nothing like a little hooping and hollering and in the stand to support our Bears.
Wonder if the U-Pike van will be there.
I don't know. He talked about the other day. I was trying to talk him out of it because it's about a 8-9 hour drive for him, and but I don't know. I got a funny feeling maybe after this show he'll probably come down that highway.
The season opener, it gets folks excited. Guys that haven't put on the pads in decades are ready to put the pads on and walk out there one more time. And Coach Dudley Hilton, you seem to do that. You've got one of those push-button motors too, and it's contagious on those around you.
Well, thank you very much. And I will say, Andrew, I've put together a good football staff, and next show we'll go into our football staff a little bit more.
During the course of the season on the Dudley Hilton Show, we'll meet that staff. We'll meet more Bears players. Next week on the show, we'll have highlights of the Bluefield game, and we'll preview the next opponent. All those things coming up this season on the new Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. On behalf of Coach Dudley Hilton, our player guests tonight, Trevor Hoskins and Chris Watson, and all the staff at Pike TV and the University of Pikeville, I'm Andrew Joyce. Good evening, and go Bears.